and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Masks, the Green Sun, Part 2. Today is March 4th, 2021, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us at that Patreon. I will post the link here below. Also, easiest way that you can ask those questions is by joining us on Discord. You can find the link in the description of this video, audiocast, wherever you are consuming it, or check in the Twitch chat to the side as we stream. We will do our best to post it there. But if you already support us on Twitch, you already support us on YouTube and Patreon and all of those other places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this wonderful show even more? Well, guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and most importantly, we also have masks. That's right, we have Tia masks. We have 5 different masks in the 5 glorious chromatic colors of our Dragon Queen, and all of the proceeds from those mask sales ends up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or help support the show, feel free to once again go to indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, KyleWithAnN, who are you playing today?
I'm still not used to going first. Hi, everyone. I'm KyleWithAnN. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight I'm going to be playing Aurora, the star, who also uses she, her.
All right. And GB?
Greybeard or Greybeard's Tavern. And tonight I'll be playing Cody. Superhero name. We'll see later. And still workshopping it. And he is the bull this evening. That's me, GB.
And Satan, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Satan, and today I will be playing Aftershock, or Luciana. They are the Reform, and we both use she, they pronouns.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Reeves. I'm here playing Caleb/Crow, which is the Janus playbook. We both use he, him pronouns.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and I shall be your showrunner. So, last we left off, you were all in the Midgrove Industrial Forest. Aurora, you were having a wonderful get-together with the Neighborhood Watch after you had been placed there by your PR agent, Dimitri, who was sad that they could not get you a photo op with Good Boy, but, you know, all heroes have to start somewhere. It was at that point that you ended up calling out to a trash bird man of sorts, only to see Crow arrive from seemingly the darkness of the tree branches with like an armful of trash and just started putting it away in front of you to let you know that he was a decent guy. In front of all of these onlookers and a small crowd that had gathered, Cody, while you were there, totally not stalking Aurora, but instead being a very fine and supportive fan, because parasocial relationships are... what even are they? You're too young to know what that is right now, but you should learn. You end up hearing what sounds like chanting. And as this chanting started, that is when you saw a creature made of pure fire, as well as a lot of, we'll call them cultists, wearing these red robes, necklaces with a small blacksmith's anvil on them. And then the 3 of you ended up getting into some pretty good combat, while Aftershock, you ended up making your way to this group as well, having followed the sounds of screams. But initially, you were chasing down a guy on a long whiteboard. Or a white longboard, I guess, is the correct order of operations on that. So that is where we ended our session. Was Aurora, you had grabbed your camera, grabbed Dimitri and the camera guy, and you were making your way with a quickness with your audience who was there out of the Midgrove Industrial Forest. Aftershock, you were also running out of this woods because, as we mentioned, or may not have mentioned, the forest was actually on fire a little bit because of these cultists, so you all could hear the sound of fire engines on their way. The real heroes were arriving. So, of course, you decided to go your separate ways. The last two people having been together were Cody and Crow. And Crow, you just went back up into the trees to get a healthy distance away from where this fire was. And Cody, you just started running off into a direction. So, Caleb, you know that the camera had been rolling that entire time. And there is a definite part of you, a very large part of you, that does not want any of what was recorded on that camera to ever have the light of day. So I'm guessing that there is a little bit of anxiety that is welling up in you about that. What is Caleb doing now that... now that the fire trucks are on their way, are you trying to like track down Aurora through through the woods, or are you just kind of like cutting your losses and hightailing it out of there? What is Crow doing?
I think Crow at the moment is kind of slinking near the fire. He wants to like visually see the firemen get there and like make sure things are under control, just to like, he doesn't want to wake up and hear on the news that like a huge section of the forest burned and he did nothing to like stop that besides call the firemen.
Yeah.
And then I think once things are under control, he's just gonna like GTFO back to where he stashed his bike and stuff and like sneak back home with that like welling of shit. I really hope that video doesn't see the light of day.
Yep.
Or is highly edited or something. But, you know, also nobody knows who I am. So
yeah, it checks
who
out.
Knows?
Yeah, it checks. Another thing that you would definitely take note of is that after you get to a safe distance away, there were those two earthen pillars that had held two of these cultists. Eventually, those pillars seemed to kind of just fall away on their own, and the two cultists that were there just book it from the scene. They realize that no one else is here, which means that, well, it didn't sound like they won, so they are best also not being around when the authorities arrive.
How far away are the authorities when they start trying to get out of there?
You would think that the authorities are roughly around like 200 feet away, like they can't see them very clearly over the blaze.
I want to harass these gentlemen with crows so that they can't run.
Yeah, you can totally do that. You just summon these crows to these cultists as they're trying to run, and they are just like flybys and pecks and just being like absolute nuisances to these cultists as they are trying to like stumble forward. And it seems like they are in the process of still making their way out, but their get up and go drive is significantly weakened by all of these fucking birds. Is there anything else that you wanted to do with them, or did you just want to harass them?
I'm trying to stall them long enough that the authorities get here.
Okay.
I think while they're getting harassed, Crow like pulls a bit of rope out of one of his pockets and gives it to some of the ravens so that they can like flying bolo these guys' feet.
Okay, yeah. Roll to unleash your powers.
Sure.
As you are asking your crows to use tools, which some crows are capable of doing, but not all of them can do it inherently. So let's make sure that we're able to get there.
That is a... I'm trying to remember exactly how I phrased my commitment last time, because if it's in effect still, it would be a 7, but if it is not...
Your condition from last time?
Well, the like goal that I set, which I
Gotcha.
think was to make sure that these like cultists were defeated.
Gotcha.
But I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
Let's just call it a 6 for now, because
Okay.
I think that like
Okay, so a 6.
I think I like spend too much time thinking about it, and they get away.
So
Mark the
6.
potential.
Yeah, that is a fail. That is not a partial success. However, in masks, as Kylan pointed out, when you end up failing, you instead mark a point of potential. You are still in the process of learning these superhero powers. This is the first time that you have asked your crows to bolo tie somebody. So it makes sense that there would be a little bit of an issue here. You see, like, these crows fly down with this rope, but as soon as there is tension, like the crows on either side to try and wrap them around, they just aren't strong enough. They don't have the speed to sort of carry them around. So you're more just like throwing a horizontal rope at some ne'er-do-wells in the hope that it will wrap around, and they just like, they are so taken by these other crows right now that it's difficult for them to even notice that this rope has hit against them. However, that is something that you would be able to recover later, so you still have that rope about you.
Crow scratches his chin and looks over at Mephistopheles and says, "We'll have to get a better tool for that, and also flock viewing of Return of the Jedi. No, Revenge of the Sith. That's the Hoth one, right? Anyway, we got to get out of here."
I feel like Mephistopheles would say it was Jedi and then just flies off. Lets you know the right Star Wars movie that you were thinking of. But yeah, so Mephistopheles absconds from this location, and you are left to, again, watch the flames, make sure that they don't get too out of control. You are doing a hero's work. Good job. Likewise, Cody, you were last seen in your armored form, making your way out of the woods. Are you reverting back to your regular people look? Are you just staying in your Roman style armor? What is Cody doing?
Yeah, it's that kind of Wonder Woman thing where it's like old Wonder Woman, where you run, you get into the trees or past the bushes, and then you mid stride step out the other side, and you're just wearing your hoodie and jeans and Converse.
Okay, yeah, and I think that Cody, as you are making your way back to your truck, because that is what you had initially been doing, is that you had parked your truck on the other side, knowing that you would have to walk through the woods to pass by Aurora. When you get up close to your truck, Cody, you go to... Yeah.
After... how do you... Lucinda?
Lucina.
Luciana
sorry.
drives the truck. Cody drives the Jeep.
The Jeep.
Luciana,
Sorry,
yeah.
Luciana. Yes,
Luciana. Okay.
Luciana. So Cody, you get up to your Jeep. It's early summer. Do you even have the doors on there, or did you Yeah, you removed the doors. You're that kid. It's fine.
Yep.
But as you're getting close to your Jeep, you hear a voice calling to you from like 4 stories up behind you. And when you go to look, you see a masked figure. They are wearing a like yellow and black striped suit. They are hanging upside down by a long web. And they look down towards you and say, "Psst, hey kid, you know anything about what happened in the myth?" Fire trucks and all that.
Yeah, there's just fire. There's a fire. That's why I ran away from the fire. There were fire people and heroes. There were some heroes over there.
What kind
Aurora
of fire
was
people?
there.
Aurora? Oh, wow. I don't know who that is. What kind of fire people are you talking about? Like people made of fire, people throwing fire. I just figured you probably know something because you look a little pale, out of breath, and you smell like awful wood smoke. So I figured maybe you knew something about that.
Yeah, I was there when it happened, and that's why I ran away. Well, there was a guy made a fire, and there were a guy throwing fire, and then there were yeah, yep, that's who they were. And then some young heroes showed up and thwarted them, but they didn't know how to put out a fire or something because they all left when the fire was going. But the trucks are coming. You can hear the trucks, right?
Oh yeah, I can hear the trucks. I got pretty good senses.
Okay, so I'm gonna go and catch the rest of it on the news. And Cody's starts walking to get in his Jeep.
And I feel like this figure just drops from their webbing, and you watch them fall, and it looks like it's going to be a precarious one. But then they flip at the last moment and just kind of land on their feet. And then when you stand up, you can see that they're maybe between 5'6" to 5'8", little chubby. And they come up towards you and say, "You go home, get yourself safe. Just remember, if you know anything about what ended up happening over there, Orb Weaver's got your back."
Okay. Is there an Orb Weaver hotline?
I should probably get one of those Google Mail sets up or something like that. So that way, if you see something, you can say something. But right now, I'll find you. How about that? How about you just you hang around here regularly, see movies often, or something like that? You smell like popcorn.
Wait, yeah, I catch some films and yeah, I and he tries to come up with a lie, but it's Cody, because he was gonna say no, I live in another town, I'm from France or something, but he's got nothing. He blows it, and he's yeah. He's almost like the I like turtles kid. He gets all flustered, he's gonna just blurt out the wrong thing, and he says, "Yeah, I like movies. Yeah, you can find me around here somewhere."
Yeah,
he just kind of trails off.
And at that point, before you can even put your hand up to block your face, Orb Weaver will wrap an arm around your shoulder and just take a quick selfie with you. And they say, it'll go up on the official account later today. All right, you have a good one. And remember, fires, you let me know. And then they just thwip, and they shoot away from where you were.
Hey, Cody, Cody's having a freaking heart attack. He's now, he doesn't know who to go to or what to do or any of that. So he's just he's
for sure
definitely affected. Is it a Mark something situation?
I don't think that this would actually, Cody. I would think that might shift things a little bit for you. Not in your stats kind of shift.
Okay.
However, I think that might give you a condition.
Okay.
I would think that this might end up being either afraid or insecure. Okay. Which one do you think is more fitting to Cody having an interaction with a confirmed superhero?
I think it's got to be insecure. Only because a threat would be I'm assuming if the afraid is a direct kind of effect.
Yes.
Where insecure is exactly. Or superhero.
And she just took her picture with you as well. So yeah, you are you can now mark the insecure onto yours. Luciana, leaving this fire-shrouded place with a quickness, what is your plan? What is your goal for the evening? Yes.
Okay, sorry. My brain decided not to hear things. Well, last session, she was kind of like hanging around where Aurora was, following her to see about that camera.
Okay. So I would say for this, you are trying to assess the situation. So roll to assess the situation for me.
Okay. What do I roll with?
Assess the situation. Let me check. That
superior.
Is yes.
Okay. Okay. 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 1 9.
Okay, so with a 9.
Oh wait, sorry, 8, not 9.
So an 8. So you are trying to track down, just trying to like find a situation where Aurora is not going to have the camera.
I'm trying to see where she's taking the camera. I'm just following her.
Okay. Yeah. So as you are following Aurora, and this crowd of people, Aurora, you escort your audience out, and like you're getting a lot of compliments like, wow, the effects on your show today were absolutely incredible. Yeah, it looks so lifelike. I can't believe it. And Dimitri is like, he's like come to, the paramedics had to like smelling salts him. And they are like asking him about what he saw. And he's like, I don't know, there was some people, they were wearing robes. All of a sudden, a creature made a fire showed up, and that was the last thing I remember, I swear to honest. And then same with your cameraman, who is like doing their best to try and speak to the paramedics, but their English is so little. They are incapable of doing so. And the paramedics that are there are like, I don't speak Czech. We really cannot get a hold on this guy at all. So it seems like there is a language barrier there, but everybody that you were with made it out okay. All of the civilians are looking a little scared. Some are looking a little singed. There's like tasteful amounts of dirt and ash on them from having run away. But overall, it looks like they actually made it out well. Now, Aurora, what are your plans for the evening now that this has been taken care of? And you realize that your camera is still rolling. Like you did not have time to hit stop on the overall recording process, so I think like now would probably be a good time to be like, okay, end the video as well.
Yeah, I think that she will like she's probably loading up into like a vehicle of some sort to head back somewhere, but I think before she does, she's gonna turn back to her fans and be like, I want to thank you all so much today for coming out. I appreciate your bravery when things got a little scary, and you're all just so wonderful, and I love you.
And there is like a wave of cheers and claps of people, and you hear one guy just, she said I was brave, and like it seems like they have taken that to be called out personally for how brave they were.
Luciana's in the back like, ugh.
Yeah, Luciana, this just, it feels so weird and disingenuous. Like, you know, Aurora, she's in your homeroom class. She is not this person. At least, like, she doesn't present herself to be this person. Weird. Real weird. But, like, you see her with the set the camera in the vehicle before she does this, and then gets in with it.
Yeah, Aurora's going to, like, turn to, Dimitri and be like, I need this footage analyzed immediately. Anything you can get from it, we got to find out who those others were.
Yeah, sure thing, Aurora. Man, passing out will really take a number on you. How about this? You go to your room, go to your apartment. I'll grab us some euro. I'll meet you there in 20.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dimitri.
Of course. Now come on. And like he like motions for the camera guy as well, who's also just like passed out. He doesn't know what happened. He was passed out for a while. It can't be good for you. So Luciana, you see Aurora get into this truck or get into this vehicle, drives off. You know that she has the camera with her.
Ugh.
Absolute worst case scenario. Her PR agent that you have
murder her.
heard named Dimitri, and then cameraman number 3. They cycle through quite a few, but he is there as well, and they look like they are going to be getting some food before then reconvening with Aurora.
Do I know where the closest zero stand is?
Yeah, I would say that there is a Euro house style place, food cart. Maybe there's like some food cart pods that are near the park. That always seems to be a rather prevalent thing. And you know that like it is just the Euro Express. That is their name. They're not great Euros, but they're not terrible, and they're open until like 4 a.m. So you know that that's probably where Dimitri's going to be going.
Can I get out in my truck and like go there?
Yeah, you can definitely go there.
That's what she's gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, and by the time that you arrive, you see that Dimitri and the cameraman are just sort of like idly chatting to each other. Dimitri at one point comments how he needs to update the social media with the events that happened. Really hopes that this is his big break. He's not talking about that this is Aurora's big break, but he's like, man, I hope that like Aurora said that there were going to be people on that camera. I really hope that we get this off the ground because you know how much I've been needing this. And like the cameraman nods like, yeah, we both do. Like if my cinematography's anything.
Are they outside of the car?
They are outside of the car. Again, this is just a food cart. So like they got out of the car, went up, have ordered, and are now just like waiting outside of this small truck for their Euro to show up.
Can I park my truck a little, like maybe at the corner, like around the corner, and while their food's getting prepared, I want to see if I can like walk by the car and kind of like sneak by in a way, and then unlock it so I can get the camera.
So you know that Aurora's car is the one that had the camera.
God damn it!
Yeah, it is just these two. They seem to have gone on a little bit of a side mission to get Euro, and then we're going to be taking it back to Aurora. They know to only get her the falafel kind. She is looking out for her health after all.
Out of anger, I think she's just gonna say fuck and throw a rock at the car and leave.
Okay. Yeah, there is when Dimitri and the camera guy end up making it back to their van, there is a crack in the window. There is like a dip in the window from the impact of said rock. And you just hear a come on from Dimitri as you drive away. Like no matter how loud your music was or what you were doing, you just hear that come on from the damage that you have done to this poor entertainment industry worker's vehicle. But you are able to take care of that, no issue. Aurora, you are able to get back to your house. You have the camera with you. You are escorted upstairs, and you begin the rewind process. So that way you can see, you can watch through everything that you had just witnessed. Are you the kind of person that does your own video editing, or do you sort of like brush that off onto one of Dimitri's friends as well?
She definitely normally passes this thing off to someone else to do, but however, she's like going through, watching, squinting, pausing, rewinding, fast forwarding, like trying to get any like little detail out of it she can to like figure out, okay, who are these people? Like,
Okay.
what is this?
So, I was prepared for this. So, watching through the tape, this is what follows. You see that there are a bunch of stable shots, a bunch of really, like, the lighting and actual camera work from this guy was really helpful. You can see he's like getting your good angle off of the street light. Like you have a little bit of like that heroic shading going on. And then there's a quick camera turn as Crow appears after you have called out for this trash villain to show up. And like there is like you can hear the cameraman be like, the fuck is this? When you see Crow like starting to put away garbage, like the camera like shakes a little bit as they are chuckling. And then there is a chanting that you hear. And as the camera sort of like pans over really quickly to shift away to track where this chanting is coming from, Aurora, there is that moment where you're like, no, you dum-dum, like camera's supposed to be on me. I am the star here. And you feel like you can chew him out later, maybe. But the camera shakily zooms in on a figure who readily immolates themselves into a creature made of pure fire. And then the direction of the camera goes skyward as its handler falls to the ground. And then the camera seems to rest at a almost upside down, lopsided angle, thankfully pointing in the right direction. Yours. And because you are all working, because you're working on this on video editing software, even though the camera has sort of like found itself at this angle, Control T, quick rotation, you are able to get it back to a steady view. And you hear the screaming of your small crowd of onlookers begin as they vacate the premises with a quickness. And you see a shadowed form from behind the cultists making a series of motions that seem to correspond with the earthen pillars that had launched the being made of flame into the lake. You can't get a good look at their face, but there is a sense of practice with their movements. Based off of your interactions with Crow, you are fairly certain that he is new to this whole hero business, but the figure in the shadows knew how to use their powers, and they knew how to use them well. You then watch from what was previously a lopsided video, all of the insanity that you remember unfolding. And as you begin to watch this, you see a set of sneakers run into frame as you hear a voice yell out something in Latin before their body is wreathed in some kind of golden light, before the sneakers disappear and a shield-wearing man in golden armor appears to block an attack that was otherwise heading directly towards you. And it seems like these figures were almost looking for that golden armored man, because as soon as he arrived, they seemed to focus on him primarily. Before the end of the fight, you see the figure in the woods begins to run off, and then the feed kind of continues from where you remember it. You see this fight end. Like your figure rushes over, grabs the camera, the angle shifts again, and then it's like a shaky zoom cam as you remember holding onto this camera as you are making your way out of the woods. And as it is shaking and tilting as you run, you can see just for a brief moment that there's somebody in the woods with you running. And you let the video play up until you hear yourself acknowledge that the video is still recording. And as you go to, and then it shows you like hand reaching down to hit the stop recording button. And then there is a pause for about 10 seconds of darkness. And then it seems to pick up in the middle of a birthday celebration as a young girl in a vibrantly colored dress blows out 15 candles on an equally vibrantly colored birthday cake. And you feel like something important got recorded over here, and you really hope Dimitri remembered to make a good digital backup of whatever it was that was beyond here before meeting you tonight.
Not the quinceañera.
But, Aurora,
Okay.
watching through this tape, you do pick up several things. The first, The voice that called out in Latin, you swear you've heard that voice before. But who do you know that even speaks Latin these days? You remember overhearing Mr. Caldwell say something to a student in your homeroom class about a Latin phrase, but you cannot remember for the life of you who it was. But it's their fault. If they were more remarkable and paid attention to you, you would obviously know who they were. And as you were exiting, you also saw when the camera was shaking and you had seen that shadowy figure. Thankfully, digital editing medium is so much more helpful at just like slam windmill pausing to kind of get that like second by second playthrough. And it's during a wide swing. It's a little bit of a shaky, but you manage to pause it and you can make out that figure running through the woods. And you kind of make out their face. It looks like that new girl, Lacey, Laura, whatever her name was. It looks like her. But that is the information that you receive from this tape. That there was somebody, you recognize the you notice the sneakers. It's a could be recognizable voice, you're not sure. And then, like, very clearly, like, oh shit, I know that face. She's in homeroom.
And nothing about Stinky Trash Bird Man.
Stinky Trash Bird Man is so strange. Like, he is lanky. His hair is like a cloud floating atop his head. He has like this aura about him that kind of rubs you the wrong way. But like, you're not really sure why. Like, you feel like you've interacted with this hero before. But for the life of you, you cannot remember you would remember somebody dressed up as a trash bird.
Okay. Yeah. She's probably going to be like still rewinding, replaying.
Oh, that's around the time that
rewatching.
Dimitri comes and you hear him being like, I can't believe somebody would throw a rock at a window. Like, he's just like flabbergasted that something would happen to his van. He was renting it. Like, this isn't even his van. Now he has to get the window repaired. Man, his luck could not be worse.
Yeah, I think she's only going to be like halfway paying attention. And then without even like taking her eyes off the screen, she's going to be like, Dimitri, I need 2 cuts of this. I want one that has everything, all the other people included, and one without that's just focused on me mostly.
And Dimitri, like, looking at this video, it's like, I can do my best. There's a lot of shaky film.
Don't publish anything yet. Hold on to it.
Do you want me to let my guy at the news station know might got something juicy for him?
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can follow some leads. I'm very curious.
All right, well, next time you try pulling a stunt like that, let me know. Felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest when that guy started doing all that weird CG stuff, turning himself into flames. That was crazy.
No, that was real. That was that was very much real.
Yeah, I know. Like a real part of your act. I get it, but like seriously, let me know.
No, you didn't plan that?
Aurora, if I planned something like that, I would have at least given you some prep time. I thought that was you. Was that not you? We need to do a better job at like checking what fans are coming to your events. Like really make sure that none of them are going to try and do something weird.
I don't think they were there for me. I think
that's impossible.
They were there for this guy, and she's going to pause right on Cody.
And Dimitri says, now this guy's going to be one of the biggest difficulties about trying to make this video look like something. He's in like every shot. If you want something that's just you, it's going to be like 3/4 view, a lot of close-ups, which, don't get me wrong, your face absolutely gorgeous. Face that could launch 1,000 ships. But only problem is that guy's glowing, creates a little bit of a difficulty for a nighttime shot. All we really have that's just you is trash birds showing up.
Listen, I'd love to release the footage as is, but I think for this investigation, I may need a bargaining chip.
Whatever you say, Aurora.
Thanks, you're the best.
I know.
With kind of just like a, like a half smile that kind of like quickly like fades as she's still very focused on the footage.
And I think that Dimitri, knowing that this is your livelihood and his livelihood as well, will spend the rest of the evening getting these cuts for you. And it's pretty easy to get the cut with the 4 of you in there. Like he said, the final cut that is you fighting things is very difficult. They're like small stills. It almost looks like you're watching like a Sentai Force show where it's a lot of like stills of you in a powerful stance and then a punch of one guy. But even then, like, it's more just like reusing the footage of you blinding a guy, but like at different angles and zooms. So that way it looks like you're single-handedly defeating all of these. Like, it shows you doing like an overarching crest with your flashlight. And, out of context, that was part of your transformation sequence. But then, like, in the actual footage, that's when the earth pillar shoots the flaming creature into the water. So it makes it look like you have a little bit more power than you actually do. But you do end up getting this combined tape with everyone that you had seen that night on it. So that is it for your evening plans. Cody, you do live out of town, so your evening plan is really just like getting out of town, driving as legal as you can. You almost wish you had your doors right now because like the cops always look at you funny when you don't have doors on your vehicle.
Yeah, it's a wait. There were cameras there. Was there cameras there? And then Orb Weaver took a picture. Well, she's gonna put that on the net. I gotta look her up. And then he picks up his phone and starts, and then he's like, hits the gravel, and he chucks his phone in the seat. And
cop ends up pulling you over. It's that slow walk out to the passenger side. Like, they don't even do the whole like, do you know why I've pulled you over? They just like take their flashlight and like you hear them like touch it against the back left of your vehicle and just got a tail light out. Just I know I'm getting it fixed tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And they he's just like, yep, okay. Be looking out for your car. Like, let you know this cop's got your number. And he's not one of the Everett Heights cops either. Like, he's not like one of the city cops. Like, he's a stater. Like, he's just like on the highway.
Statey, not like local sheriff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, he's a state trooper, but like he's pulling you out for a taillight on a small back highway. Like, this is the most bored state trooper that you have seen in a long time. But they're still looking out for you. And by the time that you end up getting home, it's pretty close to midnight on this. I believe we had said that this was a Saturday. Crow, just like riding your bike like a madman to your local suburb to get away from the city. By the time that you end up getting home, yes.
I have a quick question for Cody, which is, how careful do you have to be about not tossing your phone out the other side of your car if you have no doors?
So brutally, like I said, he hucked it in the seat, and probably it slid across it's got to be vinyl because it's a Jeep. It slid and was like headed for the other. So that was the thing that led him to hit the gravel was like. Nice.
Okay, sorry, what was the question?
So, Crow, the fire has been put out. It takes them about an hour in order to do so, and then you know that you also have a decent bike ride home. Do you do it like, do you store your costume in Midgrove, or do you like backpack up your costume and then ride that all the way home?
I think there is a like gas station on the edge of the suburb that he like hides a backpack behind their fence in the like tall, never mowed grass. Just so it's like far away. If it gets found, it's not close enough to his house to like get really associated with him, but it is on a good like course for him to pick it up as he's headed out.
And like, I feel like you would go to that gas station pretty frequently, but not in a like, oh, I have to make sure that I'm seen in this place, but like genuinely, like you went to like, it's probably called like the Jackpot or something like that. Like, you have been to the Jackpot, like that is your gas station. You get all of your weird snacks there. You get like beverages, whatever. It's always open. It's on the way home.
Yeah, it's on the like start of my ride headed into town, so I can like pick up a drink or something, and then it's at the end of my ride, so I can pick up some snacks or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always there. The gas station is always there for you. And I would say it's probably because you had left on Saturday. Like, you didn't need a reason to leave on Saturday nights. Like, I don't think that your parents are necessarily worried about you, like, getting up to bad things with some ne'er-do-well friends. So, like, they're pretty comfortable with you being out on your bike. They just want to make sure that, like, okay, no later than 2 on weekends. Like, make sure, like, don't go out if your studies aren't done. Like, they're responsible parents, but just want to make sure that you are being safe.
Yeah. I tossed out the generic, I'm going to go see X movie. And after I got back from, working the cafe and rolled away.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of, you did receive a text message earlier in the day from the cafe owner that's wondering if you can pick up a shift tomorrow.
I think that Crow will accept that because he doesn't have any other things planned currently, and he wants to calm down from his big night.
Yes. What a time. So yeah, just having your regular shift at a regular coffee house seems pretty on the table for you right now. So did you have anything else that you wanted to do over the evening? Speaking of when you stowed away your costume, you are also in the possession of 2 small golden seeds. Is there anything that you wanted to do with those?
Yeah, I think he pockets them. He has a microscope in his room, and he wants to take a look at them a little bit closer.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. And then Luciana. Luciana, what are you doing? As you were not able to get a hold of the camera, you trailed Dimitri and the cameraman. It's easy to follow their car now. You got a pretty good marking. You know what building Aurora lives in, but you don't know what floor. So that would make things a little bit difficult, but you do at least like generally know where she lives.
Yeah. I think from that, she's just going to drive away angrily. And I'd like to think that as she's driving away, the state trooper had stopped Cody, so she was able to just speed past them.
Oh, yeah. And Cody, it's one of those like, your tail lights out. You should really get that. Checked out. One moment, please. And they like, you see them like jog back to their car and like quickly call in like, oh, we got somebody like recklessly driving on this highway. Send at least 2 units. Somebody like, why can't you go check it out? Be like, I am with somebody right now.
I think she knows where she can speed and where she can't. So I think they will speed past them, seeing that the state trooper is busy with somebody else, but get to like a more
you're like several
lawful
lanes over. Like it's not you don't want to speed right next to them. Like that'd just be rude.
No. Yeah. And then eventually she gets home, and it's that very teenager angsty stomping up the stairs into the apartment, and the door closes, and she puts her bag down, and she goes to the couch and just throws herself in the couch and just
I feel like when you get home, all the lights are off. You open up the door and you can smell like somebody made food here hours ago. And like you like silent scream into the pillow.
Yeah.
Just like, motherfuck! And like kind of like toss your head back, and you can see that there like rice cooker is made. Like there's a little note that just says help your like clean up after yourself.
Yeah. She's just like she's actually feeling really worried because of the camera, and because she saw possibly someone she knows, so she's gonna stress eat.
Oh yeah.
And she's gonna just pile it's rice, it's beans, there's tostones in there, there's some really good chicken. She's just piling the food.
It is
just
like
stress eating.
It starts off as like you're making like a small taco, and then no, I need a bigger tortilla. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. We're getting rid of the tortilla entirely. It all goes into a bowl. You're just mixing that shit up.
Yeah.
You get some chips and just like
Yeah.
just
she's just
devouring. Yeah.
As she's stressed, and she's like, "Oh God, if Aurora has the footage and can see me, she can publish it. Of course, she's gonna publish it. She wants all the attention on herself. She needs it. Apparently, she was kicked out or something." And she's just going through everything, and she's like, tomorrow's Sunday. What should we be doing? Okay, no, if I show up, she's gonna definitely know it was me. Should I wait till Monday? I think to school. It's like, oh no, that I shouldn't. That's too long. And she just doesn't know what to do. But she's like genuinely panicking over everything.
Oh yeah. And I feel like would this end up driving you to like kind of cyberstalk Aurora a little bit? Like Wikipedia, the Rainbow Maidens, like, why did she get kicked out? What was the deal there?
Yeah.
What is her weekly schedule? Like, basically doing the things that
What is
Cody...
her weak point?
Yeah, like, show me the weakness, the chip in this phalanx armor.
Yeah.
And you find out that Aurora was not officially kicked out of the Rainbow Maidens. From what you can see on this Wikipedia article is that after the events of the Green Sun, Aurora decided that she was going to go and pursue a solo career, and the rest of the Rainbow Maidens wished her luck. And then some of the fan base ended up following her to the new gig, but not very much. And like looking at the top idol charts, Aurora is very low on the overall ratings. It seems like a lot of the idols that are on the tops all have like, they do have powers, and not just the like magical girl transformation that you saw Aurora do. No, like there's like videos of somebody like manipulating like gravitational energies. Like it's a absolutely wild no man's land.
She's gonna just sit there and look at the videos like of like before the Green Sun, then after. Then remember when she saw Aurora, she's like, she got kicked out because she didn't have powers.
Yeah, there's like...
Fuck, this is where she really wants to make it big now.
Yeah, no, there's like a 20-minute, like, where are they now YouTube-style video that's just, like, one of Aurora's fans probably being like, yes, this is Borealis XX The Dark, letting you know about Aurora. Where is she now? And then, like, going through, like, the early days about, like, how, like, oh, when the Rainbow Maiden, like, before the Green Sun, the Rainbow Maidens were slotted to be at the absolute top, and Aurora was, like, one of the leaders of that. But now, like, people aren't interested in that style of hero anymore. Now that they're, as this video claims, that there are true heroes. And it seems like... this is a little bit of an internet flame video. It seems like Borealis XX The Dark is, you know, not a Rainbow Maidens fan, but like a new Rainbow Maidens fan.
Okay. she's gonna be washing as she eats and just like cyber stalking, like, what is her deal now? What does she want? And kind of go through like all the little things she has been doing throughout the town that is nowhere near what the Rainbow Maidens are doing now. And she's like, oh god.
Yeah, the earliest that you, or everything that you end up finding of like what is she doing now is mostly on her Twitter feed. And you can see that the last thing that she ended up posting was that she was in hashtag MIF, talking with the hashtag Neighborhood Watch, and they were trying to figure out what to do with local villain, all caps, and then hashtag Trashman. And you can see Aurora there, like, it's a selfie. It's a really, like, as much as you hate to admit it, it's a really good angle for Aurora.
Yeah.
Like, she's stupid photogenic. Why, of all of the people? And then you actually see that there are pictures that have been tagged with Aurora from the event. And you see that it is Aurora there. There's and then shaky camera over, you see just like a big blurry outline of what you know to be fire creature that was there. And then another picture that shows Aurora like in a really cool pose, but like Crow is slightly out of focus in the background. And then there's like a weird white streak that seems to be in front of it as well. Like, all of these pictures of Aurora specifically are absolutely glorious, but it seems like the guy dressed up as a bird, and then that golden armor man just seemed to like ruin the rest of the picture with their uncanny movements.
I think her plan will be to just she will be following that hashtag for the next few days. And she's just gonna like shut in and just be following the news and social media to see if anything gets out.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you can definitely hop on that follower list, like making sure to like set it up. Thankfully, there's actually a bot that just retweets anything that ends up going on. Yeah. It's MythBot for the Grove. Anything that happens in the Grove, it's just on an automatic retweet. Yeah.
She's not gonna actually follow anything because that's not her style, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. You gotta manually search for it every time you're curious.
Yeah, but I think after she finishes eating, she's gonna like turn on the TV, turn on the news, and then just sit in front of it in like the most comfortable clothes, a blanket, and just ice cream.
Oh yeah,
she's real upsetty.
It is. The news is over at this point, because again, it is like at this point for you, it's like 1. It's like 1:30. There is no news. They're playing like reruns of Reno 911. There's the Late Show with local celebrity talk show host, that sort of thing. There's no real like current news. You know that most of that's gonna probably be the morning news, if anything. But so you have that under wraps. So then let us go into the following day. Cody, do you have any Sunday plans?
I think we see Cody in the pole barn with the Jeep, and again, Cody's Jeep is like some matte gray. You know, it's basically something him and his grandpa put together to run through mud bogs. It's not really a thing you're supposed to drive every day. You
painted it yourself so it doesn't have that like shine to it on the outer.
Exactly.
Like it looks like a matte Jeep.
Yeah, and so we see one of those like basically it looks like a radio from like Fallout. You know, it's like ancient old radio that Grandpa's had around forever. And Cody's listening on that radio to local news. And and he's actually fixing the tail light to the Jeep.
Yeah. You had well, like that was the thing when the cop pulled you over, like he was like, you need to get that fixed, and you just like I imagine show him the bulb, like you went to Napa or wherever earlier in that day. It just got to like, no, like I'm going to fix it once I get my tools.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Grandpa's pole barn that's got the whole pegboard wall, and every tool is like outlined with a Sharpie marker.
Yep,
where
so that way you know where to
everything.
put it back once you're done.
Exactly. Yeah,
and I feel like Cody, as you are listening into the news, I feel like Cody's probably a morning person. Not necessarily like up at the rise of dawn, but like you're at least up before 9 every day, or at least before 10. Like your grandpa forces you to help him out around the house. Sometimes the lawn needs to be mowed, and sometimes he likes the lawn to be mowed before noon specifically.
And he gets up at like, you know, he goes to bed at 8 and gets up at like 3 a.m. and then sits there from like 3 to 6 or so before he does anything.
He putters. He likes to wake up early, watch an entire movie, and then start his day.
Right.
So I feel like, Cody, as you are like tuning into the news, working on this, you actually hear the news talking about a fire that happened in the industrial forest out in Everett Heights. It seems like no one was injured, but there does seem to be the work of some foul play. If anybody knows anything related to the individuals who may have been responsible for starting the forest, please contact your local authorities. They will do their best to take it from there. Other than that, it's more just like listening in to the local radio jockeys. There doesn't seem to have been any major newsworthy event that happened later in the evening. And at this point, I think you would probably just get like news jockeys throughout most of the morning. Like it's Sunday, they're just doing repeats of like the best of from the week that they had. A lot of prank phone calls. You find it humorous?
At some point, Cody is probably like either on the windmill or somewhere trying to get something resembling phone reception so he could check the Aurora chat rooms and stuff to see if there's like, you know, because that's where he would get the pictures of like new hero or whatever, and then he tries to look up Orb Weaver too because he's like totally paranoid.
Oh yeah, no, on Orb Weaver's social media, maybe not 5 minutes from when the picture was initially posted, you see thank you random citizen, #myth, #fire, #real hero, #Orb Weaver. And it's from at Orb Weaver official. And the picture is like Orb Weaver like giving a thumbs up, and you just have the most like ghost face, like like not even like a starstruck thing. You look like you have seen a corpse like walking a dog down the street, and she was like, hey, photo op. Like you have just like, again, like scared kid face. It's just like, what the fuck? And like there are a bunch of comments being like, oh my god, that was so lucky. Oh, I wish I could have seen Orb Weaver. Oh, that would have been great. Like a bunch of people just commenting, and then others being like, oh, that guy's fucking stupid looking. And like they start like that face of yours of just becomes like a meme in the comments.
Great.
Like you are just getting like wildfire, just getting spread through Twitter as part of this reaction phase. And
I'm okay with that because there's no big gold armor guy picture.
No, and when you go to check Aurora's feed, you see where there would have been, but it seems like there is too much lens flare on your armor to really make for a good picture in that kind of lighting. Like it's always just like blown out wherever you are. Like you can't tell anything other than just like golden thing, large shield. But like as far as like even being able to be like, oh, that's like clearly a male fighter, clearly a femme fighter, like No, you can't tell anything. It's just a golden light. And then Aurora looks great. And honestly, like the light shining off you really helps to capture some of her better features.
Golden glow. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He breathes a big sigh of relief, and he's like I said, he's probably sitting up in a windmill or something, that G-pod, the TV antenna or something, to get something resembling a better signal. So with that, he feels better about the whole situation, and we'll probably, just spend Sunday. Maybe he remembers, oh, crap, homework.
Yeah, like he definitely has to take care of his homework at some point. So let us switch over to it's a mundane layout. Hooray. So Caleb, it is your morning shift at the coffee shop. Did we have a name for this coffee shop?
I don't think we've named it yet. I think it's called One Last Cup.
One Last Cup? Okay. Sounds good. I'm writing that note down. It is going to be in bold, and we will talk about it again. So... No, not that. One Last Cup. So you are at work at One Last Cup, and your boss is basically going over... this boss is basically going over the new point of sale system that you have set up. And when you show up looking at it, it is called Midas. And looking at this point of sales, Midas ends up standing for, I have that written down here as well, the Mercantile Income Direct Assistant Services. So as you log into this, it is basically like a work planner. You can log into your shift there. If your job was able to afford you benefits, you would be able to find all your benefit information there. It's kind of like an ADP thing where it's just like making sure that you are always on top of all of your local workday needs. But the thing that your boss is actually rather excited about is that if you are a Midas user, then you actually get discounts and coupon codes for other businesses that also use Midas as well. So if you are a employee who uses the Midas system, picking up extra shifts, working longer hours will end up getting you additional benefits at other places. So when you sign up, you already have like one free movie ticket to your local theater. And as long as you have that app installed on your phone, you can use that anywhere at any other place that uses Midas. And your boss, family friend, is excited about it because Everett Heights is one of the first major cities that they are testing this system out in. But they had a limited trial in Riverside and State Field, and it seems like this is going to be the next big thing.
I think Crow is very enthusiastic with them. There's just one small problem, which is that Crow has a flip phone.
Gotcha.
It's like a flip phone from in the smartphone era, though. So it's got like an internal,
Some
like
apps.
nice screen, and there's like I think it still has to use TI, but
Do you have
like has
is it the
4G?
slide phone? Do you have like the full QWERTY keyboard?
Yeah.
Oh
I
god.
think there's gotta
Nothing
be.
bad happened to your phone.
It flips open like a book basically, and it has like a rectangular screen and a keyboard underneath that, and then the front has like a little like touch 10 key on it that you can dial from. So he gets like 4G and can like look up things on a janky internet browser, but I don't think he can like download apps and stuff.
Gotcha. At that point, your boss would just let you know that they also have a web client. If you want to get any of your like bonuses, just sign in through there. You'd be able to download any of these like promos that kind of thing.
Cool.
And like he shows you how to do it. It's no worries. And as you are working at the coffee shop, it's a pretty relaxed day. And that is until one customer shows up. And the door opens, you hear the little bell ring, and it's a woman. She's nicely dressed. She has a large hat on that she ends up taking off, and she kind of has like sandy blonde hair, low-setting sunglasses that she takes off as well. She has a nice set of green eyes, and she orders a black coffee for herself. And as she's standing there and you're making her coffee, she decides to make some small talk with you as well. And she says that it's like she's been coming to this shop for years. Apparently just like always on days that you have never had, or like maybe you've seen her before but just didn't really think anything of it. And she ends up saying or mentioning that it's really strange to her. She's been coming to this shop for years. And this is the first time that it seems like the crows are nervous outside. They were more nervous than they were last week. At least that's generally what she feels like is happening anyways. She says that she normally feeds them on her break at work, but they don't want to seem to eat as readily as they used to.
I think we make all of our black coffees as pour over. So gives her like a good chance to make small talk while I'm kind of stuck there doing the whole pour over thing. And Crow is like, or Caleb, sorry, different persona. He makes about as little eye contact as is possible, but is not impolite. I think he just, so what makes you say they're nervous?
Well, how do I put this? Have you ever fed the birds before?
Every once in a while.
Well, when you're feeding birds, you always want to make sure to take little pieces of grains or breads or whatever it seems they're interested in. You don't want to use breads all the time, especially for feeding creatures like ducks. It's actually really bad for their stomachs. You want to find something a little bit easier, a little bit nicer for them. And, well, cast it out, see who comes. And normally when you throw out all sorts of food, the creatures just flock to it, peck it right up, and then disappear. But lately I've been throwing crumbs out, and they seem a mite peckish. Now, it seems very strange. I've always felt like the crows and I had a good relationship going on. Almost like we had an understanding, you know what I mean? You end up feeding a bird enough times, you feel like you get an understanding of what they mean.
I get that. Do you think maybe there's just someone else feeding them?
Oh, that could be. But out of this whole city, you're telling me that that any of these flocks of crows come down? That all of them are getting fed somewhere else? I think they're nervous. I think something happened to them.
I don't know what that would be. There was the fire in the forest last night.
Oh, I didn't hear anything about that.
It was on the radio this morning. Apparently there was a small fire in the myth.
I see. So that's why it has been so difficult to make my way into work this morning. I understand now. Well, maybe a fire would have something to do with that, but I'm not sure. Have you given her coffee yet, or are you still in the process of making it? This coffee is incredible. What is your name? I feel like I've seen you before.
I'm Caleb. My family is friends with the owner, so I work here on weekends sometimes.
Oh, you're friends with Ted. Good job. He's good people. My name is Lorraine. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, you keep making coffee like this, I'm going to have to come back again sometime.
I try my best. And he like nervously looks around and then picks up a like day-old scone that's in a bag, and he's like, For the birds?
And she will look at the scone, look at you, and then give you just the sugariest smile. And she will take it and just, I think they'll like this rather well. Thank you, Caleb.
I was thinking about snacking on it, but makes a good gift to the birds too. I like feeding them.
Well, if you ever find yourself available on a nice afternoon, come on by to Corporate Park in the Myth. I'll be there feeding birds. Maybe we can feed them together.
Maybe. Sure. I'll look out for you, I guess.
And she says, like, slowly putting her sunglasses on, I'll be seeing you, Caleb. And then we'll raise her coffee towards you, and then she will exit. And she's really the only person of note that you end up seeing here. So this Sunday as well, Aurora, thankfully you did not have any plans going on. You have spent most of today just rewatching this video, trying to get a good idea. You've been able to identify one of these individuals. You know that that's Luciana. Although you still don't know her name.
Question.
Yes.
How would it be feasible? Well, actually, I do have a move for this, but I think this just depends on if Livewire would be considered an important city figure for, like...
Not for your city.
Yeah, not for my city.
Not for your city. I would think that Livewire was previously... I think we said that they were from Riverside.
Okay. How feasible would it be for, like, her to hear anything about Livewire?
I would think that you would have heard at least a bit about it. Or a bit about her. For the most part, Livewire as a villain did not have a very long lifespan as a villain. It's not that they ended up dying, but you heard that there was just sort of like a stop to their nefarious deeds at a certain point during an event that leveled a city block. You are not sure if Livewire was responsible for that or if they just got caught in the crossfire. You know that she was also hanging around a very powerful villain named Apex.
Okay. Yeah, I think she has, like, in one, like, she has, like, dual windows going on. In one window, she's watching the footage. In another window, she probably has up, like, a news story or something.
She's got the dual monitor set up. One of them's, like, vertical, so that way you can just get the dedicated feed.
Yeah, and I think she's just, like, pausing and rewinding on the frames with, like, where you can see, like, the geomancy in action. Like, the old dude getting yeeted into the lake and, like, the pillars of earth. And just kind of, like...
Yeah.
And is gonna, like, try and cross-reference the last known thing about, like, Livewire in, like, matchup dates. I think she's got a theory kind of running in her head at this point.
So even though Aftershock is not there, roll to pierce the mask.
Okay.
Okay, and piercing the mask is roll plus mundane.
Oh, dang, mundane. All right. Big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies. Huh. Okay, well that's a 2. So we're gonna have potential for that one.
So that is some serious potential that you were getting on this one, for sure. And I feel like that's most of the day. Is like, I'm gonna say we retract that you don't have the dual monitor set up. You have like a MacBook Air or something, like something that's like chic and has decent video editing, but is downright fucking useless for anything that you want to do with like multiple windows. So you keep like trying to bring up like Livewire, video, and like it keeps like going full screen and you don't know how to make it stop. Normally Dimitri takes care of this, but like you don't want to get him involved. You also know that he is going to be unavailable today because he is doing everything he can to try and get that video of the quinceañera back up and going, but oh boy, it's not looking good. Not looking strong from last you talked to Dimitri.
Yeah, I think it would be funny too if like Aurora is like sitting there doing this and maybe like she has like unnamed personal assistant comes in and is just like, oh, here's your coffee order. And she's like, thanks. And we'll like, you'll see it's like some sort of fancy, but you know, kind of like frilly ice latte type thing. And like on the side of the cup, you can see one last cup's branding on there.
Oh yeah.
As she just like takes a long sip and is just, you know, staring at screens.
Oh yeah, and I feel like that is what Aurora is doing throughout most of the day, is just staring at screens, looking through this. Cody, you were doing your best to refresh on the events that had happened the day previously. Luciana, you wake up. I'm assuming that you are the kind of person who wakes up and it's like 2 p.m. Like you just plowed through the morning.
Yeah.
All
She's
right.
not a morning person. She's a night owl.
And when you arrive, or when you wake up, your aunt's door is closed. Your Tia's door is closed. You know that it was open when you left. You're like, you can hear her snoring. She came home after you passed out and just went right to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that that Luciana / Aftershock would like to do for today?
No, I think she's worried about Aurora putting out the footage, so she'll keep the TV on the news most of the day, but she's just gonna stay home. And if her Tia wakes up, she's just like, oh, I have a lot of homework to do.
And I feel like your Tia like comes out of the room, makes herself a cup of coffee. Like she's still wearing the scrubs that she was wearing yesterday.
She made coffee ready. Like she just has to pour it, and she made some breakfast. She just has to reheat. Yeah,
no, and I feel like your Tia, like, this is one of the reasons why she agreed to let you live here. She wasn't expecting you to make her coffee and breakfast, but like, she's not complaining. In no way is she complaining about this. This is great. I feel like it's like between bites of like eggs and bacon, just, you're doing your homework?
Yeah.
Good. Stay in school. Stay out of trouble. I don't want my sister getting mad at me.
It's fine, Thea. It's okay. I'm doing great. It's just like black cup of coffee, looks out the window.
I feel when you say I'm doing great and looks out, you hear the sound of ceramic on countertop. And then you feel an arm around your back, just, hey. People who say they're doing great and look out the window like you are doing, they're not doing great.
Would her Tia know about her powers? I would assume, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Again, it was one of the, as we had explained in session 0, one of the requirements for living with your Tia was letting her, was like filling her in just in case, because she doesn't, I mean, it'd be wrong to not tell somebody that you're used to be a supervillain when you live with them.
Yeah, yeah. I think she does that eye roll thing, and then it's about to like do some angsty excuse or something, but she like stops herself. So, like, last night was interesting. And she'll recount the events of the night before, not talking about the bar.
Yeah. You leave the underage drinking out, but
Yeah.
like I got involved in superhero level antics.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good
But
one.
she talks to her Thea about how she's worried that Apex is in town, and how she's worried that Aurora caught her on camera when she was actually trying to do good, and now that because she tried to do good, her life is going to be ruined, and she's going to put her Thea and her family in danger.
I feel like your Tia will let you say all of this, and then she grabs you by the shoulders, or like grabs by one. She still has her coffee mug that like sets it down onto the coffee table, and then grabs you by the shoulders and says, "Did you cover your face?"
I tried to. I don't know how well it held on.
Can you talk to this Aurora person, ask if they can leave you out of this thing? Like, kind of let them know, like, hey, it's not really something that I'm ready to show people yet.
I could, but you see, and she'll basically explain to Aurora, like, she was kicked out of her, like, old band, so she seems like she's really trying to make it big, and I feel like she's not going to care. And she's one of those, you know, kind of like, she does, like, a little nose up in the air.
Oh, yeah, no, your Tia,
Yeah.
like, this is something your Tia and you, like, have done about just people you've seen on the street.
Yeah.
Waiters and other service staff that you've had that have treated you poorly. Like, she knows. And she says, well,
I know where her house is. I could, like, try to figure out what her apartment is, break into it.
that
and
sounds
steal
like a
it.
terrible idea.
Oh.
Breaking into someone's house, always bad idea. Always.
Okay.
There was this boy I liked. I wanted to leave him a note. Broke into his house, left it on his desk, left. Guess who did not? Guess which Tia of yours did not get a call back from the boy that she liked?
Well, that's just rude. You went through all the effort to put that note on there.
I know. It's fine.
she actually laughs at that. It's a little bit more relaxed. I can try and talk to her, but I don't think she's going to like care. Why would she care?
Well,
I could threaten her, tell her like
don't
hurt
threaten her.
Okay.
Don't threaten her.
idea.
But you could always find some way to make her care.
How?
So for this, your
She doesn't do that often, so she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So your Tia is attempting to lower your danger but increase your freak with a shift.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what she's suggesting is in one of your classes or some other such place, you've learned a lot about Aurora, whether through not necessarily a lie and not necessarily threatening. Your Tia did not say to do either of those things. But if you don't want information about you coming to light, especially sensitive information like that, there is always the option of also letting Aurora know that it might not be the best that your information gets out to the general public because Apex is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like you don't care about, like, so your Tia is basically trying to shift this for you, because that is what she believes is a reasonable course of action. And that is a mechanic that is fairly common in masks, is that people who hold influence over you will attempt to shift.
Okay. This is a question for Kylan. Do you think Luciana would have Aurora's phone number for some sort of like lab project? Like her not personal phone number, like the school cell phone number, or at least like her email. Do people do that?
Well,
Her Discord.
that sounds interesting. So let's say yes.
Okay. Does she have her on WhatsApp? She's gonna like look at her Thea. Look at her phone. Look at her Thea. I suppose. And she's gonna. Go ahead.
Your Tia will like basically say like, I knew that you had the right idea. She'll pull you in, give you a kiss on the forehead, grab her coffee. Yeah. And then as she's about to make her way out the door, her hand goes onto the door handle and she says, there is a pause as she says, are you sure it was Apex? Are you positive? Because if you don't know, trauma manifests itself in a variety of ways.
Not again with the whole... I didn't get a look at their face, but I'm pretty sure it was them.
And she looks at you, and with a sadness in her eyes, she says, please be careful, Lulu.
I will.
And she like gives you like a stern look when you say that you will. And then when you say that you promise, she kind of like lets up and says, okay, okay.
Te lo prometo, I promise.
And then as she's having this moment, there is a beeping noise and she looks down at the pager that she has at her waist and just like lets out a cry that she's late. And that just, all right, love you, bye. And like has to just immediately leave.
Yeah, wait. And she takes like it's like those really insulated thermos of like coffee and with coffee inside, and she just puts it in her hand.
And she says that she would lose her head if it wasn't screwed on. And she again gives you a kiss on the forehead, and then just gone.
As her Thea leaves, she'll just take a moment and just kind of stand in the living room, and then just take her phone, go to the contact that says lab partner, and just stare at the screen as like about to text. And she's like, takes like a whole 10 minutes just staring at a blank text screen and just puts, we need to talk, and sends it.
Okay. So as you send it, and I feel like just for good framing, it is like, we need to talk, like as like the final frame on this page. And we don't see you send it. We know like it's implied that you've sent it, but the page turns. Caleb, after your shift working at One Last Cup, was there anything like looking through the myth? You're able to see like there are the effects of some of the fires here. Meth has also let you know like, oh, like we spotted the trash man. Like he lets you know that like they caught him. They tracked him down, but it was at like 4 a.m. So like you were already gone, but he's here. He's still active. Still doing his trashy works. And so you are you're able to kind of get a general scan on the area. Are you looking for anything in particular now that you are able to pass through this area, or are you just going back home to work on homework as well as investigate those golden seeds?
I think he gives like a quick once over the area just to see if there's anything he missed that might be useful, and then just heads home. He's got a ham radio book club to get to.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you don't find anything that you missed out on the day before, and when you get home, there is the ham radio book club. And that goes by as well as you would expect it to. You've been keeping up with the readings, which is always a plus. They appreciate the fact that in the book club, you are actually reading the book and not just hanging out and being a distraction for the rest of these ham club book readers. And I think they would just call it the ham club. Like, it's just easier.
For sure.
You finally get around to being able to look at these seeds that you have found. And when you are looking at them, they are honestly like beautiful. They are incredibly well crafted, and it seems like there was a insane level of detail that was actually paid in the fabrication of these small seeds. But you don't see, like, you barely see any like chiseling lines or like fabrication lines. It's almost like they were just like made perfectly in this way.
Yeah. He sets one to the side, and I think he breaks out like one of those art X-Acto knives, the one that's just like the little triangle blade at the long of the end, long metal handle.
Yeah.
And like very carefully sees if he can make an incision.
You attempt to make an incision, and it is like, you feel it has a little bit of give to it because gold is actually a slightly malleable metal. It's a soft metal. But you aren't able to like cut through it or anything like that. Like, it does have like a solid gold sound to it.
Is he able to apply enough pressure to like cause it to break in half?
With your superhuman abilities, I would say that like you have to get it on a clamp. You try with the X-Acto blade, and like the blade snaps because X-Acto blades are thinner than shit. But like you
goes and grabs the kitchen knife, like full on.
Oh yeah, no, and it's one of those things I feel where like you grab the kitchen knife, and like your dad is in the kitchen and just like sees you leave with the knife. He doesn't say anything because he trusts his son, but like, where are you going with that? And I feel like that's like
gives him like a little eyebrow raise, and he's a little more comfortable around his family, so he just like gives him a smirk and says, "Science."
Well, that's your mother's knife. If anything happens to it, you got to be the one to replace it.
I won't hurt the knife. Probably. I'll fix it if I can.
Your dad just like sips some coffee and just watches his weird son go. But yes, you end up going up. You take this kitchen knife. You have it like clamped, and you attempt to cut it in half. Roll to unleash your power.
Sure. Seven.
Okay, so 7. So you are successful in being able to unleash your power, but it is not going to be super effective. So let me just check one thing real quick. I have all of them tabbed now, so it makes it easier for me. He said like a liar because I can't find them. There it goes. It's the second tab.
Caleb also knows something that would be way more effective than this, but just doesn't have the tools at home. If he had like a chisel and a hammer, would have made this absurdly easier. But that's why he has to use the clamp and the knife, because he doesn't.
Gotcha. So you go to cut through, and like it's giving a bunch of resistance, so you just kind of like dip your shoulder more into it, and the knife like on the side or on the edge of the seed shoots down, The seed just like shoots out of the clamps that are on. The knife sinks into the table that you are like holding it over, and you can actually see like there's a hairline fracture on the inside of the knife as well. But this golden seed does also look like it has some cracks in it. So you weren't able to keep the knife in perfect contact. Now that you're able to like pull it out of the table, it is much easier to pull it back out as just the handle comes through, as like the front blade is just embedded in this.
Crow like looks at the blade, pulls out his wallet, flips through the bills, puts his wallet back, looks at the blade, surreptitiously goes to his room, pulls out a small box, flips through the bills in there, grimaces, and grabs the box and like heads out.
Okay. So, yeah, I would say the rest of your day is probably spent like going to the store, getting a new knife, coming back home. And by the time that you finally are able to get to the seed, and like you give your knife back to your like you leave and your dad just like watches you leave. And then you come back, your dad watches you come back with like a box for a new knife. Just
I broke the knife.
what were you trying to do with that? You said science? You know, science I ever heard about other than gastronomy that you need a knife that big for.
I was trying to break into something small. A chisel would have been better, but I only have the knife.
With all the money that you just spent on a new knife, I'm sure you could have just bought a nicer chisel than that.
I didn't think that far ahead. But hey, Mama liked the knife. I got a nice one.
I'm sure she will.
And it's not like that was the sentimental knife, because I broke that one a while ago.
Oh, I remember. You're trying to be an
I'm
electrician
not looking
that
forward
time?
to this. Yeah.
Just slowly shakes his head, keeps sipping on some of that coffee. And then yeah, your mom ends up coming home later. She brought takeout. I feel like she likes to bring home takeout on the weekends, like at least once a week, get it from like a local Chinese place or something like that. And when you're there and you are eating dinner, she ends up lamenting about the events that happened with the forest fire. She's just talking about work, that sort of thing. And she is like griping, just apparently there were pictures that were taken that show people setting the forest on fire. Something to do with that, what is it, hero, idol, Aurora, whoever. She was there. There was the neighborhood watch, and they've all said that men in red robes showed up after a man in a black robe wearing a bird mask showed up and set the forest on fire. And we're trying to figure out who to prosecute. But if no one has names and everyone just has the bird mask on, I don't really know who exactly we could possibly even try and point this on. Thankfully, the police were called at a reasonable hour, but I'm just... Why can't more of those heroes be like Good Boy? He knows how to roll over when people ask.
They're not dogs?
I know they're
It'd be pretty nice, though. Why do you think the person with the mask was with the red ropes?
Well, they showed up together based off of the footage. Can't find anything that's showing them trying to stop them necessarily, although one of the onlookers said that a bird brought a fire bucket. I don't know what that was about. All I know is that they are causing some serious problems for the city. Someone like that Aurora is one thing. They're, I guess, for all intents and purposes, just an underage worker or I don't know what their age is. They're working. That's their job. But the heroes like Orb Weaver or Birdman or that golden blur that showed up in those videos as well, they're just making things difficult. And if they also came out and just said, this is who I am a hero, I am a public worker, we could actually put something into the works, something into the paperworks for that, so that way, if they messed up, there would be accountability. Because as it stands right now, the only person I can think of for charging to any of the damages that ended up falling onto the, well, forest would be Aurora, but she was doing her best to protect the forest. So now, the only people that I could possibly blame for setting the forest ablaze are all gone, or swinging through the city, talking like a cabbie.
Crow nods. Hey, I got you a new knife today.
Oh, that's nice. What's the occasion? And then your dad, like, as she says, what's the occasion, just like...
Crow glances over at the knife block. I broke the other one. Again.
Said he was doing science. And your mom hears you, hears your dad, and just... Science... Caleb, you're almost graduated from high school now. Can't you please just get some regular hobbies? And when she says that, she is going to attempt to lower your freak and raise your mundane.
Okay. Do I have to accept?
You do not. But I believe that resisting a shift gives you a condition.
So would taking this shift, because it would put me over 3 mundane.
Gotcha.
You have to roll for it, I believe. Like roll to reject someone's influence, I think. Yes, there's a move for it under influence.
Okay, so take advantage of the influence or reject someone's influence. So you are going to be rolling. It does not say what you add, so just roll 2d6.
Yeah. That's a 6.
Okay, a 6 is a fail. So, Caleb, like you said, you are going to be taking a condition because you cannot shift your mundane up anymore. So if that is the case, I feel like your mom might end up making you feel a bit, either a bit hopeless or a bit insecure.
Well, I already have insecure marks, so I can't double that. I was going to say guilty.
Yeah, I would say guilty. You broke her knife. That makes sense.
Yeah, I broke her knife, and she's just shaming me a little bit, saying, which is, it's interesting that she's trying to lower my freak for being, like, weird, but I'm, like, extremely mundane.
She's just tired of losing knives, man.
No, look, sometimes you have a hypothesis, and you have to test it.
All right. And I think as you take on that condition, that is a good place where we are going to go into our break for the evening. So we're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. And we're back. I have the proper names for people in the layout as well, so that is a big plus. Hello, everybody. We have returned. It is getting to be the end of our Sunday here in the week of masks. So that means that do you guys have anything that you wanted to do as far as like a late night activity, or do you just want to kick it off with school first thing on Monday?
Would Luciana have gotten a response from Aurora?
Can you? Oh, it's just that we need to talk.
However, Aurora, I would also like to possibly point out that you have Luciana saved in your phone as lab partner as well, but like with a little science beaker emoji, just so that way like you remember which lab.
Yeah, I think I think Aurora would send something back along the lines of like, I'm busy tonight unless it's like an emergency. I can just talk to you at school.
She's just like, ugh. There's no response.
Must not have been that important then. All right.
She's like, this is good news for me.
Quick scene. So it's getting to be, about 8 o'clock. G-Paw is headed for bed or whatever. And Cody's like, hey, G-Paw, so, because he's nervous and like worried about his G-Paw, because obviously the cultists are in the same town as he is. And he's like, so G-Paw, did you hear the park started on fire and stuff, and supposedly there were like red robe guys there or something, some kind of cultists, or if any of those cultists show up here, don't open the door for them. I hear they're really bad people.
I'll do the same thing I did when those Jehovah's Witnesses come by. I open the door, I won't be wearing a lick of clothing on me, and I'll ask what do they want, and they'll make them downright uncomfortable. They'll leave.
Okay, G-Paw, be safe.
Yeah, I ever tell you about the time that I almost got wrangled into a cult, and you're like pushing him like, okay, G-Paw, there's a sex cult out Oregon way, so the whole thing. Like...
Exactly. And the whole time he's worried about him. And then we have a scene where he's like walking around the farm, it's like 8-9 o'clock on a Sunday night, and he's like patrolling the farm. And then we see like he's under the tractor using the tractor axle as a barbell, and he's like lifting the ass end of the tractor up to like work out, because he's just so agitated that he thinks they've found him, so
yeah. I would say that as you're doing this, you don't notice that it is getting to be a little bit of cloudy weather above you. It looks like it is just about to rain, and you can hear what sounds like rolling thunder off in the distance, and then that rolling thunder seems to get more rhythmic, and then it seems to get softer, and it almost sounds like it is footsteps that are approaching you. And then you see what look like high-laced sandals on darkened skin feet that are like standing. Like if you like put your head back against the earth as you're like on the ground looking, you can just see these sandals, and there is like a spear butt end, like a staff into the ground as well.
Yeah, roll up and turn and get ready to call the shield kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can see as you have like gotten into this like position to like get ready to call the shield, you're not sure. This figure is like wearing that shield on their arm.
Okay.
Cody Johnson!
Yeah. Hi.
You are Securitas's vessel, are you not?
Who's asking?
Quickly, Cody Johnson!
Okay. Yeah, I am. And then he's both like relieved and still on edge.
This figure is like standing there, just stiff as a board.
Yeah. That's me.
Cody, are you curious as to why Securitas chose you over all others?
Yeah, it crossed my mind.
And this figure says, then you must best me in singleton combat. If you are able to do this, I will reveal to you. And they just sort of like leave it there.
Okay, they let it hang.
Yeah, they just
And
let
Cody,
it hang. And like kind of
Cody's
like
like
level their spear towards you.
He's like leaning in for the next part, and then when the spear comes up, he like, boom, the shield pops, armor up, and yeah, I guess come in like shield, spin the spear, and try to punch with the shield or whatnot.
Roll to unleash your power or make a powerful blow.
Okay, and that's under danger, correct?
Yes.
All right. 8 and 3 is 11.
Yes. So for an 11, like you managed to like just punch out with the shield. You're using like standard like high school brawler tactics against this like legionnaire looking dude, and he does not seem ready for your like quick ducks and rolls as you're fighting against him. And eventually you end up being able to land a solid blow against them. They actually get knocked back quite a bit, and as your shield connects to their armor, that's when you hear another crash of thunder off in the distance. And they're like holding on to their chest now. You probably like broke a rib or something of theirs. And they like put up a hand. I yield, Cody Johnson. And they stand up. She has chosen a worthy fighter. This is for certain. Cody.
Okay.
The forces of Vulcan seek to reclaim your abilities.
Yeah.
You are familiar with them, are you not, Cody Johnson?
Yeah, we fought in the park that they started on fire.
They will pursue you, Cody Johnson.
I kind of, that's why I moved here. How the hell did you, wait, is my grandpa going to be safe?
Your grandfather shall be fine, Cody Johnson.
Okay. What do we got to do to get rid of these guys?
The forces of Vulcan have sent one such as yourself to this place. This is not Rome. I can sense this. Perhaps we are the Gauls nearby.
Okay. Cody's not laughing. I'm laughing.
Perhaps we are in Scotland, home of the Picti. Now, Cody Johnson, the forces of Vulcan have come. They seek to reclaim your abilities. What Securitas has offered unto you was not hers to give, yet she has given to many others.
Okay, and who are you?
My name matters not, Cody Johnson.
Excuse me, Cody Johnson. Let me go on fantasy name generator, Cody Johnson.
Lightning in the background.
Yeah, I'd say, like, my name matters not, Cody Johnson, and like slams the spear down, and that's when the lightning finally cracks.
Spells his name in the lightning. Ah, yes.
This is the title card of your standalone spin-off series.
That's perfect, by the way. I love the matters not.
And I feel like at that, like, again, you kind of hear that thunder rolling. And they say, my name matters not, Cody Johnson. What truly matters is that you find yourself safe and ensure the safety of others. The Cult of Vulcan is treacherous. They are tricksy. They will do whatever they can to lure you into a false sense of security so that they may take your powers from you. Do not let this happen, Cody Johnson.
So, like, how are they just like touch me and blam, I lose it, everything?
If only it were that simple, Cody Johnson. In order to take your powers from you, they will take your very life.
Oh. Okay.
You seem to be taking such grave news fairly well.
Okay, Cody's got that total teenage fallacy going on.
Oh yeah, he's invincible. Like, he can never die.
He's invincible, and then he's got superpowers on top of it. so he's like, okay. So do I have to bash them, defeat them? Is there
yes.
Like okay.
Rout them thoroughly.
It shall be done.
Excellent work, Cody Johnson. I will come to you again.
Okay, and he looks back at the farmhouse and he's like, but just don't when G-Paw's asleep and you
look back at the farmhouse to say this, and when you look back, there is nothing.
Gone?
Absolutely gone.
Creepy. Just like flashes of lightning in the clouds way off.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Excellent. So, Cody, you have had this conversation, and like, you go back into the house and like slowly open the door. G-Paw's asleep.
Yep.
He didn't hear the weird armored guy yelling outside. He didn't hear you fighting. Okay, that's cool. It's cool. Yep. Like, the sun is still, like, it's up. It's not nighttime yet.
One other detail. Hey, what would have the book have been that you were doing on the Ham Club radio?
Oh, goodness. War of the Worlds.
Okay. All right. So that too, at some point, that was like when Cody was trying to get G-Paw to go to bed. G-Paw was on the radio, on the ham radio. That's why we have the big tower at the farm. And they were talking about War of the Worlds.
Like, you're fairly certain your classmates on the ham radio, but you've never found like a reason or an opening to like, hey, Caleb, you talk to my grandpa on the radio every week. What's that about?
Exactly.
Like, there's no high school appropriate way to bring that up to somebody. So you just haven't.
It's their secret.
That's their secret, not yours.
Perfect. All right. Good.
All right. So night goes by, otherwise uneventfully.
I did want to investigate that thing a little further if I had a little time in my evening.
Yeah.
Now that I've got it to crack a bit.
Yeah, looking like it's cracked a little bit and taking like the broken lower part of the knife that you were using, you can kind of like get it in there and then pry it open. And again, gold is more of a malleable metal. And when you snap this little seed in half, do you have like a microscope or anything like that at your...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I have
you
a
do.
microscope in my room.
Of course you do. Of course you do. So you manage to like put this little golden half seed on there, and then you begin to look in with your microscope, and it's incredible. Looking in on this thing, you would expected that if you were to break open this solid piece of gold, that it would just be pure unaltered gold all the way through. But when you open it, there looks like there are almost like fibrous lines that go along the inside. Like this was not just a seed in appearance. This looks like it is a seed. Like it has all of the makes and internal workings of a standard seed structure. It's just made entirely of gold.
Crow looks at it and strokes his chin. He goes and grabs a little pot, puts some dirt in it from outside, plants the other seed and waters it, goes to bed.
Okay. When you awake, there is a beanstalk. No. So you wake up the next day. There is no growth in the golden seed that you have potted. And you get ready to make your way to school.
I take it with me.
You just take like this emptied pot with you on the way to school, or like the broken seed?
It gets tucked in my backpack with like some saran wrap taped over the top to make sure the dirt doesn't spill.
And do you have like a basket on your bike that you put this in?
Yeah, I think he has saddlebags.
Saddlebags? Okay, yeah. Your mom's the district attorney. She shelled out for saddlebags for her kid. You don't have like a milk crate that you have zip tied to the back of your bike for this kind of thing. Like, it's a quality bike. They were your brother's saddlebags, but that's fine. Have bags will carry.
Exactly.
So you are able to make it to school without any real issue, like making sure to bring along the seed as well. And I assume that Caleb gets to school before your other classmates do for homeroom, like because you ride your bike there, you're always one of like the first kids there, so that way you can also make use of like the gym shower and not just be like sweaty high school mess sitting in class waiting for people. So you're there first thing. Who is the second person to show up to class today?
I'd say Luciana would show up pretty early.
Okay. Yeah, Luciana, like there's also that like heart pounding, anxious, nervous feeling that like confrontation is going to happen today. You know, confrontation's going to happen with Aurora at some point today. And like just that like general anxiety. Ugh.
She's like thinking about that. She's like thinking about her aunt Swords, like, You're not gonna punch her. You're not gonna break into her house. You're gonna, make her care. She's like, ugh.
And Luciana, as you're sitting at your desk behind Crow, trying to think of like what you were going to do about this. Crow, like his head pops up because he's looking at something on the board real quick. And you see his hair just kind of give like that telltale bounce to it. And you realize something. You have sat behind this kid every day for the last several months. You have seen his hair bounce and move and shake with this weird godlike property of a cloud that cannot be replicated by any means, 3D or like 3D imaging or otherwise. You've seen that hair bounce before. It was 2 days ago in the woods when a man in a bird costume was doing his best to like throw an elbow and hit a cultist with a bucket. And that that bird masked man has that same unmistakable bouncy hair that Caleb has.
I feel like she's like chewing gum, and at this realization, she just like gasps and sucks it in at the same time. She's like,
yeah. Caleb, the girl who sits behind you, is like choking on something.
Caleb like looks back, making sure there's not actually choking happening. He also has a very detailed notebook that he's currently writing in about heroes and powers, and he is making notes currently about the events of this weekend and the like heroes he encountered.
She's gonna like grab a bottle of water and just drink from it. She unfortunately swallowed that gum, so we'll see what happens with that in the future.
Chekhov's gum.
Yeah. She kind of looks at Kayla for a moment and then just sits back. And she's just like looking at the floor.
Okay. And
she's not mentioning it.
And as you are looking at the floor, just like trying your best not to get involved, like Caleb is Crow. Like he is that weird bird guy.
That makes so much sense.
That does make a lot of sense. Like that bird man like had a real like gangliness to him, and you didn't know how else to describe it. But now that you've seen Caleb like turn around and look at you, like his bodily mannerisms are so strangely bird-like that it is hard not to just like associate one with the other. And as you're looking down, like having this realization, that is when you fail to realize Aurora walks into the room. Yes.
Aurora's going to go up to Mr. Caldwell and is going to say, I was wondering if maybe you could help me. I've been taking this dual credit course online at this community college, beginning Latin, and I'm really having a tough time with it right now. And I know you're busy and may not be able to help tutor me, but I was wondering if you knew someone who might be able to.
Let me get this straight. You're learning Latin.
Well, I mean,
dual credit. What's your major?
Well, right now just general studies, but you know, it seemed fun.
As your history professor, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Don't major in history.
I will keep that advice in mind.
As for if you want tutoring help, we don't exactly have a full staff on hand of individuals that know Latin. Mr. Johnson, who sits in the back of the class, I'm not sure if I should be mentioning this, but did involve some Latin phrasing in their last paper as well. If you would like to talk to them, maybe they'd be able to point you in the right direction of a tutor for your dual master's credit, Aurora.
Can we say, like, Cody walked in at that point, like not like half paying attention, and then he's like, Mr. Johnson, as he's like sneaking in the door at that moment.
Oh yeah.
Looks up like he's in trouble, and then realizes
Mr. Caldwell just kind of like gives you a little bit of a wave or like hey,
yeah.
like,
and I'm like,
thank you for joining us.
And then I realize he's talking to Aurora and mentioned my name, and he's like gets nervous, and he's in his desk, but like all 6 foot of him is like scrunched down. So
oh yeah, you're doing the thing where like you're laying down on the desk, yep. But you are kicking your feet up on the seat of the chair in front of you.
Yep, exactly.
Oh yeah, ultimate comfort in high school.
and trying to be invisible. Just
yes.
totally not there.
So, Aurora, you have been given the directive by Mr. Caldwell saying that if you want to talk to anybody about Latin who might have time, you can always talk to Mr. Johnson. And Aurora, when you look back now towards Cody, who is trying to make himself the least noticeable person, you just see like his pair of size 11s just like sticking up from his desk. There's no way, but you have stared at that exact pair of sneakers for hours over the weekend, trying to find anything about the man in gold. And the close-up from the tilted camera of twin sets of sneakers lining up, saying Latin thing, and then disappearing. Cody wears Converse. These are Converse like his grandpa had in storage that just happened to fit him. Like, these are the old white ones that look like they were the original basketball shoe.
Damn, my vintage shoes.
So yes, Aurora, looking back. Oh yeah, it's all starting to come together now.
Okay. Yeah.
And you still have about 20 minutes before class starts.
Okay. I think she's gonna go to Cody first and is gonna be like, hi, I know we have like a few classes together, but like I'm Aurora.
Can we say, like, as she turns and she's coming, it goes to that slow-mo high school like movie shot, and the like lights coming in, and she's Aurora, so there's like, you know, in Cody's eyes, there's just light coming from her.
The rest of the classroom
just hitting her perfectly.
Oh yeah, the rest of the room goes like Frank Miller's Sin City, grayscale, nothing, but then there's just Aurora strutting towards you, like, you know, this is. Oh God!
Yeah, she's headed for me, and then it's like red, total cheeks, you know. And he like tries to sit up and be taller even than he really is. Like, dude. yeah, the homeroom, you know, or I mean, home ec.
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Bye.
Hi. I was wondering, I'm thinking about forming a study group, and I was wondering if you wanted to join.
And we inside his head, it's just like gears stop. History or study home ec?
History. I think I can figure out the home ec part.
Oh, okay, I'm in. That's like sure. That cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like Cody, you like go to like put your arm on the desk and just fucking miss, and then have to like retool it real fast.
Cool, and then just floats his arm there. Yeah.
I was thinking about having it at my place, if that's okay. If you want, I can give you the address. I mean, don't be like weird about it and tell everyone. I really don't want to move.
I don't really have any friends. I mean, no, I wouldn't tell anybody.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can just if you want, I can give you my number, and you know, once you get there, I can like text you the passcode or like.
Sure. And he's got his phone, and he's like, yeah, shoot.
Yeah, she'll, you know, like do the thing, send the message to make sure you got it, and it's like, also, please don't give my number out to anyone. I do not want to have to change numbers again. I'm
good. Yeah.
Perfect. So, yeah, I'll let you know what time.
All right. Cool. Just total like red cheeks, like
Aurora.
She's
it has never
gonna
been
smile
easier.
and wink.
Yeah.
And when she walks away, it's like the whole time he was like trying to be anything but himself.
Anything but awkward, and that is exactly what you came out as.
Exactly. The hands in his head, it is like this in his desk, unless she's looking.
All right.
Yeah.
So Aurora, you have contracted one individual for your study group, and at this point in the day, I would say that the bell rings to let you know that class is starting. Thankfully, later in the day, you do end up having class with some other folks as well. One of those other individuals, Aurora, that you have class with is you actually have class with the next class is with Cody in home ec, and he does not seem to have recovered at all from you asking him. Like, Cody is just like stammering. You thought that he was like the cool silent type in the back of the room. You're not really getting a whole lot of that now that he is just like stammering, just like, I go to your house. Like he is flabbergasted. I would say third period is when you and Luciana end up having lab together. And I feel like you, like Aurora, you probably approached Luciana like maybe 5 minutes before class starts. Like break has just hit and you're like, yeah, what, like to confront her about the text message that she sent you. Just more of just like, all right, like what do I need to know going into lab today? And Luciana, I feel like you are like at your lab desk, goggles on, like ready for lab to start because you need
just a scalpel out. I need to stab something.
It's frog day.
This.
So yeah, the two of you end up having the two of you have lab together.
Yeah, so Aurora's gonna be like, hey, so I got your message, obviously. What did you want to talk about?
She's just gonna give a slow raised eyebrow and just stare at you.
Thinking maybe lab's not the best place to have this conversation.
No.
Tell you what. I'm having a study group tonight. And I want you to come. I think the conversation will be very productive.
I don't do study groups, but thanks.
Yeah, well, I think I have a video you may be interested in seeing.
Scalpel breaks.
I feel like you were in the middle of a cut and then like the knife end breaks and your teacher comes over and kind of like an overweight guy who always has his thumbs in the front loops of his pants and like kind of bent over comes over just, oh, it looks like you're pressing a little bit too hard there, Luciana. Now what you're gonna want to do is have more of a finesse edge to your cut, okay? A finesse edge.
Yep,
all right, I'm gonna
finesse.
replace this. Please don't try and break it. It comes out of the school's budget. Okay, thank you.
She just gives a sigh and looks over to Aurora. Sure.
All right. Perfect. I'll, well, I already have your number, so I'll send you the deets.
Right. I'm gonna stab this frog now. Just cuts it wide open.
Then you go to cut it wide
In
open.
the most threatening way someone could cut a frog open in front of another person.
Roll a d6 for me.
4.
A 4. You go to cut into it. You accidentally hit the bile sac, where all of the inside guts that, you know, the frog would have released on their own but was not capable of doing, just kind of like spill out into the center of the frog. And like, even though there is the smell of formaldehyde. Yeah, I was like phosphorus. No, that's not the right word. Formaldehyde. It is now like overpowered from like frog bile smell that is also filled up this area.
As that happens, she's just gonna stare at Aurora.
Okay. So yes, Aurora, you have been successful in recruiting the second member of your study group. They are all set to come over later tonight. This will be fine. Maybe one of them knows something about that bird man that you ended up encountering last night. Maybe you can grill it out of them. And then the rest of your day goes by pretty uneventfully. We go to free period. Free period, Luciana, you know that you share with Caleb. If there are any conversations that the two of you would like to have, you're more than welcome to have them.
I feel like she wouldn't bring anything up, but there's like just like a few times that she's like, no, maybe, nope, yep, but maybe, and like looks up, nope, yep, it's him, it's Bird Boy.
And Caleb, you usually are like feeding crows on your free time as well. Do you have like your empty planter with you at this time and are like trying to get it some sun?
He's so weird.
Yeah, he's also like nose deep in a book of some kind. I think it's a book on minerals currently. He's like, what the fuck is this thing? There's not going to be anything in books on like metals, but like maybe it's worth checking.
I think, and it's not going to be a whole conversation, but I know Caleb and Luciana have talked in free period before, like talk about books or movies or stuff like that. And she's just going to be like, hey, Caleb.
Oh, hi. What's up?
Have you ever seen that movie, The Crow?
Not off the top of my head. Why?
There's this guy, and well, he's dead. First of all,
Spoilers, but okay.
Spoiler alert. It's whatever. And he always shows up when there's a crow that shows up. It's really strange. I thought you might like it.
That's I'll check it out. Yeah, I do have a certain affinity for the crows.
Can I? I don't know if this is how it works, but can I roll to pierce the mask?
Yes, you can.
Okay, that is plus what?
Pierce the mask. Let me check. Boop-boop.
Let me check.
Someone is playing
mundane.
saxophone outside my house right now?
Amazing. It's plus mundane.
That's a 9.
So a 9.
Real smooth.
So you get to ask one of the following questions for Pierce the Mask. What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? ? How could I gain influence over you? What are you really planning? And what do you want me to do?
What are you really planning kind of count as like planning with like this duo persona, or like with the crow, what he plans to do with that? Kind of like if this is something that he intends to keep going in a way.
I would say based off of you seeing his journal,
Mhm.
and then you knowing that he is who he is, that would be an acceptable question. As far as, like, what is he planning on doing? Well, you clearly know what he's planning on doing. He dresses up as a bird person and talks to animals and flies throughout the Midgrove Forest. As to when he plans on doing those sort of things, I would say that Caleb, do you think that you would have like a you would have had like a weekly breakdown of like trying to like sort out what days would be best suited for you to be like out and about, like, oh, Tuesday's a good day because it's late start on Wednesdays, or like, oh, like I can afford to go out on like a Thursday night because Friday night always starts with home ec and we don't have homework in that one. So like I don't have to worry about like getting my homework done first thing in the morning.
I think there is both some like these days definitely work better, and also just I'm particularly frustrated today and need to like let off some steam, and my current method for doing that is like going out in the mask. I think his next plan at the moment though is he knows he needs to be up at a different hour, so he's got to do an early morning stakeout.
Yeah, I think that Luciana, you have seen his schedule, and right now you're putting that to memory as to like what times Caleb has written down in his journal. And you like when he was flipping through, you saw like various costume ideas, kind of like the Spider-Man costume journal. And then one of them like was not bird oriented at all. It was like a dude looked like he was wearing a bunch of trash. And there was the phrase Nemesis ? Written atop them.
Apparently I'm a little looser with the information in this book than I should be.
It's your book. No one should look through it.
She looks at him for a moment and says, "You're weird."
You're weird.
Yeah, I know that.
I know that.
Right. Good
You
luck
ever hear
getting
of a
Good luck.
golden seed?
What? That sounds like a euphemism for something.
Popcorn. No.
Sure.
But like, metals don't grow, right? Like, there's no metal plants, right?
No.
Okay. I'm writing some fiction, and I'm trying to, make things realistic.
All right. Good luck feeding the ravens.
They're crows, but yeah.
Okay. Guess you really.
If they
need
were
to-
ravens, they'd be like massive. They're like, you ever seen an eagle? They're like
No.
similar size. It'd be a lot more terrifying to have like a flock of ravens around.
Are you like into birds or something?
They're like kind of my only friends, so yeah.
Dude, that's really sad.
You don't seem to have any friends. I could say the same.
Yeah, at least I don't hang out with a bunch of birds.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Now,
Right.
are you done making fun of me, or
When did I make fun of you?
Ah,
It's not bad to be weird.
you know what I mean?
She just gives like a I know. I'll see you around. No one in this group has friends.
Yet. And
I am friends with this very old man in my ham radio club, and we get
That's
along pretty well and
weird,
make some
dude.
jokes.
you can only hang out until like
Weird,
8
dude.
o'clock, though. That's his bedtime.
That's when some young kid like comes and pulls them off. And
Okay.
All
Just
right.
stop talking.
So, school day comes to a close. Cody, you and Luciana know that Aurora is going to be meeting you, the both of you later for a club, for not chess club kind of thing, but a study group later on. What time do you think study group is?
She would place it like post dinner or something.
Okay, so closer to like 7 o'clock.
Gonna feed. She's not gonna entertain.
No. And you know that they both live outside of town, so like you really just fucked up their whole afternoon in case any plans arrived. But yeah, so placing it around like 7:30. So Cody, study group. Luciana, as nervous as it makes you, you are also getting ready for the study group as well.
She's both nervous and annoyed.
Nervous and annoyed. And I would say that you are standing in the lobby of this building that you know, like however many floors up Aurora is. And when you are standing in front of the elevator, Cody from homeroom shows up, and he's also like standing there. And Cody, you're not sure why the new girl is here? You did not see Aurora talk to her? This is a new complication.
Right.
But at the same time, who knows? The more the merrier for a study group, right?
And am I aware that there was going to be other folks at this study group?
Aurora had mentioned that she was going to invite people, but she didn't say who those people were explicitly when she invited you.
All right. Then Cody will like, hey, how's your art project doing? I mean, mine overbaked in the oven and, the kiln, and the handles fell off.
Presses the elevator button.
Yeah, Luciana just, God damn it, the kid from art is trying to talk to me. Why? And I feel like
that sucks, man.
The door to the elevator opens for the two of you. You step in. As it closes, we transfer back over to Caleb. Caleb, you are on your bike. It's a Monday night. You're probably getting ready to go home at this point. Chess club has just gotten done. And as you are riding your bike through the Midgrove Industrial Forest, you see a familiar face sitting there feeding some of the local wildlife. It is none other than Lorraine. And as you are riding by, she makes a wave towards you and then pats the cement seat next to her. And she is going to attempt to use some influence over you.
I don't think she has to. I think Caleb sees her and like stops his bike and waves. And as she like pats the seat, he strolls his bike over.
Yeah, and as you are walking your bike over to take a seat next to Lorraine, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's Masks. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us for this wonderful session of an incredible tabletop RPG. I am loving this. I didn't know how much I would love running Masks until I started doing it, but man, what a great game.
Cody is still praying that like we get in the elevator and I'm like, I'm gonna let her push a button. Hopefully it's a different floor. It won't be the same floor, please. And it's the right floor. And then he just like, he's still hopeful, so he doesn't say anything.
Oh yeah,
like you live here? Maybe that's the only thing he'd say.
Oh yeah,
he'd be like, you live here too, huh? Something like that.
Excellent. And speaking of people who I feel like live here, KyleWithAnN, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm KyleWithAnN, otherwise known as KyleWithAnN on Twitter and Twitch. So, my weekly schedule looks a little like this. Tuesdays, I stream on my own channel, KyleWithAnN. Right now I'm playing through some Fire Emblem Three Houses, so if you're interested, come check it out. On the occasional Wednesday, you can catch me on twitch.tv/playbooksandpals. Also playing Masks, where I play a completely different character. I play a very sweet boy. Um, if you are a consumer of podcasts, I got a few that you might be interested in. I'm on.
You muted yourself.
I muted myself. I'm on Off the Tables, Cape Lorelei, which is an Urban Shadows actual play podcast. I also do a few crossover episodes in Eastito Beach, which is the sister show. And you can find that on Spotify, iTunes, and another platform that I can't think of. I'm also in another podcast with channel regular Cyberwolf 1201 called Let's Talk About It, where we get drunk and we talk about the games we play in and other things. That's available on YouTube and Anchor.fm. So yeah, that's me.
And GB, where can we find you? What do you do?
Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and I'm here on Thursday nights and playing Masks. Sunday morning, you can find me on my channel playing. Right now, we're playing Grifflands, and there might be some toys involved, and we have a good time with that. And then on Tuesday afternoons, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me and Lantern Noir. We betwixt us, we've got almost 80 years of gaming experience, and we do a podcast and a Twitch show that we then turn into a podcast over on Lantern Noir's channel. That's 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. And that's it for me right now. GB.
And Satan, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi everyone, my name's Satan. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at AlysaVamp. On Twitter I post a lot of art, nerdy things, and my own art that if you want to watch me do, you can follow me on Twitch. I do art streams all the time with some chill music where we just talk about things. And I think last stream yesterday we were talking about Oreos and which one is the superior M&M, either regular or peanut. It's peanut M&Ms. So we can just chill and hang out while I do some art. But you can also find me on Twitch on other channels. You can find me here Thursdays with these lovely people playing this awesome game. You can also find me here on once a month on Wednesdays playing Monster Noir, that's run by GB. And Sunday nights playing in Rime of the Frost Maiden. Sunday mornings, you can find me on the Hype Goblin channel where I DM my friends through my own homebrew world. Where it's loosely D&D. We kind of just take the rules and kind of rule of cool out of it. Saturdays, you can find me over on Valdrian's channel and on Plot Hunters, playing Dragon Age over at Valdrian's channel and D&D on Plot Hunters. We're in all POC LGBTQIA+ channels, so if you'd like to support those spaces, come watch me there. And Mondays, I'm over at Weave the Tale playing Great American Witch, where I play a 70s biker bartender witch who reads your beer foam instead of your tea leaves. But yeah, as you can see, I have a busy schedule. I like playing with a lot of people, and I would love to see you in any of those shows in this chat. So yeah, come hang out.
Hey everyone, it's your favorite YouTuber, Borealis XX Darkness. And I posted my next video essay on the Rainbow Girls. Particularly, this is a call out post for Aurora. Anyway, it's me, your boy Reeves. As usual, you can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Reeves_bot. Currently just playing Super Sultan Brothers Super Sunday Show, which is my variety show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Currently playing this cute little puzzle game called Fogs. Can't really decide what it's a portmanteau about, but you're like a cat dog, except both ends are dogs. And you've got a really stretchy middle, and both, like, two people control one end each. And you gotta solve some puzzles. And it's very adorable, and you can get hats for each of your ends, and they're very cute. It's a good time, so you should come join us on Sundays. Yeah.
Excellent. And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, or you can go towards where anywhere audio casts are made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. But speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us on Discord or Patreon, and we will do our best to respond in kind. So with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by and join us. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit, and we will see you guys next week. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!